here we go. Alrighty, so I guess we've covered all the questions that you've done for homework already, right? Are there any that you've done that you know that we've missed?
No.
Okay. So, and you feel stronger on, is it math or verbal?
Math.
You feel stronger on the math? You did really well on the verbal. I guess, I don't know, I'm wondering if maybe you're a little hard on yourself. But yeah, like a couple of questions here and there, like in the writing, it's a couple of the same things that was coming up over and over again. And in the reading, it's the timing thing. So why don't we jump into a brand new reading passage? I'm going to send you. You hear me okay right now? Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to send you right now a practice test that we can get into to practice reading together. It's one that we did before, but just so you don't have to look for it again. And I'm just going to tell you when you should be able to look for the email. You should have it now.
No.
Okay, any second. What happened, Lily?
Okay, now I have it.
Okay, so I want you to do the fast first read of the passage, of the very first passage in there. It says, in 11 long years, John Bergson, that one. You see it? Wait, stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me when you get to the end of your first read, of the quick first read, okay?
Okay.
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 Alrighty, very good. Good speed. Okay, so now the idea is that after this first read, that's a very hard passage. So after this first read, we still are not sure of things, and we're going to use each question as a chance to get to know it better. So the best thing that can make me happy is if you look at a question and you say, that doesn't look like one I should do yet. Let me go to, because there's going to be one that says, look on lines 20 to 27 and answer something about that. Those are perfect questions, because then you just need to do just that part and everything else is fine, right? So either try to answer the first question or tell me we're doing that one next.
I think the first one is better to do it next.
Perfect. All right, next question.
I think it's also better to do it next.
Perfect.
I think it's C for number 3.
Number 3, you got C. Let's look at that one together. I'm not sure. Okay, so number 3 says, OneNote is failing, of course. Hold on. Okay. The simile serves which function? So can you read me the simile on 17 and 19?
The neighbors certainly knew even less about farming than he did. Many of them had never worked on a farm until they took up their homestead.
So
But wait, it's different.
Are the line numbers not matching up?
Yeah.
That's the issue there? Okay, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna send you right now a better copy of this one. This is, whenever we get our copy of the test that, that don't get out there in the public, these little things happen, but the test is still so worth it because we need to know what's actually on the SAT. So I have another copy of it with the line numbers corrected. I'll send that to you right now. Okay, so you should have an email from me right now.
Not yet. Okay.
Got it? Okay. Okay, so now see if the line numbers work better on that one, I guess.
Okay. Maybe D.
Okay, so now that we have the right lines, can you read me the simile?
But his land was an enigma. So wait, I don't.
It's the one.
It was like a horse
horse
that no one knows how to break to harness, that runs wild and kicks things to pieces. He had an idea that no one understood.
So you were answering it before based on the other line?
Yeah.
Okay. So based on this line, what answer would you pick? My cat just knocked something else over. Just so you know.
I think A.
Nice. All right. So as long as we corrected the line numbers, you're good. Okay. So try number 4 right there.
B.
Very good. Next question.
But it doesn't say followed.
In line, are you looking in line 35?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find where it was. So they said 18. Try the one on line 27.
And D.
Very good. All right, next question.
B.
That's number 6. So what line are you basing that answer on?
And when it says his boys were willing enough to work, but when he talked to them, they usually irritated him.
What line is that?
26.
Let me look at 26. His what? Okay. What about the sentence right after that?
What do you mean, like in the passage?
Now, originally you said which answer?
B.
Loyal but insufficiently appreciative of the farm's value. So you were seeing it as insufficient, like the boys are not portrayed as good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look at what it's actually saying in B. It's saying that they are insufficiently appreciative of the farm's value. So what does that really mean?
That they don't care about the farm.
Yeah, exactly. So you see how that's just like a slight little difference?
Mm.
All right. So then if it's, I mean, because I like the sentence that you read and the sentence that's right after it, I believe are the sentences that say what we need. So based on those two sentences, which other one would you pick?
Mm. C.
Where do you see a sign of recklessness?
Not reckless, but like it was Alexandra who did everything.
Yeah, so you're learning the idea of the real high level of accuracy. And I was just telling Mateus this yesterday, which is that there's things that in everyday life and in school we normally could say, yeah, you know, like happy and motivated, they kind of mean the same thing, right? But then on the SAT, happy and motivated are totally different emotions, right? So
Okay.
so then here, like, because you see how A is just saying, like, you know, A says what we said. It was that the boys are not good enough, but the daughter was good enough to manage the farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what were the lines you're looking at again?
26.
26. His boys were willing enough to work, but they irritated him. They got on his nerves. It was Alexandra who read the papers and followed the markets, who learned. So what are we hearing about Alexandra?
That she's like dedicated.
She's smart, right? She's yeah, dedicated is more accurate than smart, but I guess it kind of also implies smart because she's reading and understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the daughter is seen as what's the word, like up to par. There's another word for it that I'm not thinking of. So the daughter is seen as good enough to handle everything, which implies that the sons were the ones that were not, right? Okay, so try 7 for me.
And B.
20. Okay, number 7, you got B. Okay, very good. Okay, number 8.
And C.
Very good. Next.
Sí.
Very good. Next, is there a number 10 there? Yes.
Yes. Sí.
Very good. And now you're going back to the first two questions, right?
Ujú. Mm, B or C.
B or C on that on number 1. Try number 2 in the meantime if you're not sure yet.
D.
Very good. And number 3.
No, number 1.
Wait, 3, I think you also had skipped, no?
No. No, I said.
The one with the simile. Okay, yeah, that one you answered correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. So real quick. I've been keeping track of your timing and look where you are on every question that you did. So you did the first read of it really fast. You skipped the one question that was going to kill everything. You skipped it, which was great, right? And now you're approaching it from a position of 9 out of 10. So if this is a real SAT, a strong argument can be made that you may want to go to the next passage already because there's easy questions all throughout. And it's not, the problem is that the 1 or 2 hard questions makes us totally feel like we're failing everything, right? Because do you know how many seconds the SAT gives you per question? Do you know already?
No.
The SAT gives you 1 minute and 15 seconds per question. So now look at the overload of timing you're going to have. This means that right here, you gain 45 seconds, 25 seconds, 45 seconds. So this is all extra time that you earned because you were less than the given time on each question, you know? So then, you know, you want to knock out all these questions throughout the whole test, and then you might have 15 minutes left to go and do 3 more questions that were the 3 hard ones at the end, right? So congratulations, you no longer have a hard time handling timing on the SAT. How does it feel?
I'm good.
Because that's a really stressful thing. Like there's the actual stuff we got to do, and then there's the feeling of, I don't feel like I can do this, which is it's the emotions that are the really tough part in life more than what we actually have to do, right? But let me show you what they meant in number 1. So I'm just going to read out loud a little throughout the passage. You see my screen right now, right? So in 11 years, Bergson had made little impression upon the wild he had come to tame. It was a wild thing that had its ugly moods. No one knew when they were likely to come or why. Mischance hung over it. Genius was unfriendly to man. The sick man was feeling this as he lay looking out the window. The doctor left him. On the day following the trip to town, it lay outside his door, the same land, the same lead-colored miles. He knew every ridge and draw and gully between him and the horizon. To the south, his plowed fields. To the east, his stables, and then the grass. Okay, so those are all the verbs. And then the subject is who or what is doing the verb, right? So Bergson had made little impression upon the land that he came to tame. The land was a wild thing. No one knew when the moods were going to come or why. Mischance hung over it. What do they mean by it?
The land.
The land, yeah. The land's genius was unfriendly to man. The man was feeling this as he lay out the window after the doctor left him. There, the land laid outside of his door, the same land. He knew every ridge and draw and gully. To the south, okay, then that was, so then is it talking more about him or more about the land?
The land.
Does that lead us to an answer yet?
Yeah, A.
What is A talking about? What's the verb in A?
Danger.
The danger of doing
know.
what? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of like the environment.
Yeah, which it makes sense,
No,
but
so,
that's not what they were talking about, right?
So you still don't know.
Well, okay. So we're talking about exploiting the environment, family being dependable, old age, or mastery over the natural world. Now, it ends up being D because look at that first sentence. He came to tame the land, but he was making little impression. So what is that one little bit there saying?
Like that he's not a big person, like noticeable person.
Well, do you know what it means to tame something?
No.
To tame is like an animal, like to
cut away.
Like to take a dog and turn it into a pet, or a wolf, or to take a horse and be able to ride it, to tame it, like to get it under control.
Okay.
And then it says the land was a wild thing with moods, and nobody understood it. Nobody knew it. It was unfriendly to man. And then he was feeling this as he looked out the window, and he was very weak, but the land was so strong. And then there lay the land outside his door. And then later in the passage, they go into it again. Actually, in the next paragraph, he had the old world belief that the land is desirable, but the land was an enigma. You know what an enigma is?
No.
It's like a puzzle. The land was like a horse that no one knew how to break, that no one knows how to break, that runs wild and kicks things to pieces. He had an idea that no one understood how to farm it properly, and he discussed this with Alexander. The neighbors knew even less about farming. Many of them had never worked on a farm. They had been hand workers. So there it's like the land was hard to control, and he thought he was going to be the one person that succeeded where everybody else failed. Okay. Alrighty. So can you do your fast first read of passage 2 and let me know when you get to the end?
Yeah, there's a problem. Like it's very blurry and I can't read.
Passage 2? Let me look at it. You know what? Go back to the Are you talking about on my screen or on your screen, on your copy?
On my screen.
Go back to the first email that I sent you and see if that one's less blurry.
Okay.
But then when you need the line
Yeah.
numbers, you probably have to come back to this one.
Okay. So I would like the two passages.
Yeah, just go ahead and read the two passages like with that fast style and tell me when you get to the end.
Okay. Okay, I'm finished.
Alrighty, so that was 2 minutes and 50 seconds, which is not terrible, but you know, it's not the worst thing in the world that is taking you that long. But if it takes you a little long, it represents the idea that you got to just believe more that you're gonna have time later to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be done now. Like, if I just come out of this and I say passage 1 is saying this about taxes and passage 2 is saying that about taxes, then I did my job and I can move forward, because we're doing that whole process of getting to know the passage each time, right? So what does passage 1 say about taxes?
That they're being like extremely high and they're being used without our like will.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to even say what they're saying, right? But it's saying that there's kind of like an inherent conflict, like maybe just from having seen the passage before, not that I got this the first time fast, but right here where I'm highlighting in green, we use the ballot box for decisions when conformity is necessary. There was another place where I saw it. Oh, it was the line right before that. The ballot box produces conformity without unanimity. The marketplace, unanimity without conformity. What do you think that means?
That like the ballot is a general like conformity, not everyone. And the marketplace, like everyone gets to choose, like without having like everyone agree.
So like in other words, nothing's perfect, right? Okay, and what is passage 2 saying?
Yeah, that the government actually does a good job spending our taxes. We just like take it for granted.
Yeah. So I guess passage 1 is saying that there's no such thing as a perfect system. Passage 2 is saying that it is a perfect system, but we're the ones who don't see it that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's not so much about taxes, but the perfection of like how we make our political decisions. So okay, so let's do the same thing. Try to answer the first question and tell me if you can answer it or if you want to move forward. Did she make food? What's mommy doing right now? What was she doing before that?
I think it's A.
Wait, hold on. Okay, sorry for all the noise I was making. I thought I was muted. Okay, 11 is A. Very good. Next question.
C.
You said C for that one?
Mm-hmm.
All righty, good. Next question.
B.
You said D for dog on that one.
No, B for boy.
B for boy. Okay, let's look at, well, okay, yeah, let's look at that one. Okay, so this is number 13. According to passage 1, one result of the current political process for determining how taxes are spent is. All right, so what quote were you focused on for that?
Like on the second peg. Like 17.
And what's the point? Okay, so 17 says, majority rule is a necessary and desirable expedient. It is, however, very different from the kind of freedom you have when you shop at a supermarket. What do you think they're saying?
Actually, I think it's D for dog.
Yeah, voters rarely get exactly what they want. Okay. Alrighty, so try the next one.
B.
You said B on that one. Took you 30 seconds. This is, you said B for boy or D for dog?
B for boy.
All right, so let's look at 14. The author's remarks. Okay, in your words, what do those author's remarks say?
That it's not perfect.
It's not
And that
perfect.
you can't have like conformity and unanimity.
You can't have them both at the same time. That's the idea that they're mutually exclusive. Have you heard that phrase before?
Yeah.
You can't have one thing without the other. Or you can't have one thing and the other at the same time. So, okay. So what is A saying?
That it's better to have conformity than unanimity.
Which is different than what we're talking about, right? Because not one of them is
Mm-hmm.
preferred. B, unanimity and conformity are incompatible.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that one?
I think it's good.
Yeah, that's the idea of being mutually exclusive, right? They're incompatible. They can't
That's
go.
what I said, no?
Too familiar. I'm thinking about it now, actually. Wait a second. Like incompatible means incompatible means like, I think it's weird. It's hard to explain, but I think it's slightly different. Because incompatible would be you can't have them both at the same time. Are they saying you can't have them both at the same time?
You can, but like it doesn't say you can't.
It doesn't say you can't. It just says the ballot box produces more of one, the marketplace produces more of the other. So if we're talking about the ballot box and the marketplace only, then yeah. But yeah, so in other words, it's kind of, so then B, yeah, B sounded really good to me, just like you. But but D, I think, is the one that they like. So emphasize a sharp contrast between two familiar activities. So what are the familiar activities?
The ballot box in the marketplace.
Yeah. So in other words, that's a good answer because it takes the pressure off of the conformity and unanimity. It's more about the ballot and the market, right?
Okay.
All righty. Try the next one.
B.
You said B for boy on 15. Very good. Next.
C.
Very good.
B.
That one you said B. Very good. And really, really fast right now. Like that, you took 25 seconds, 10 seconds, and 20 seconds. So do you really feel like we've alleviated your concerns about timing?
Yeah, kind of. For now.
It's just it's just you just got to commit to the new way of doing it. Like, you know, just be willing to like be in, like, you're not going to be able to adjust to it if you're striving for perfection right now. That's what I always tell my son in golf. Like anytime we try a new type of swing, then we're always going to be, there's going to be a few days where now we're not hitting the ball well anymore, right? So so we're little by little adapting to the new method. I'm writing it down while I'm saying it, but it does look, to me, it does look like it's working. Okay, so okay, for right now you're on 18.
B.
This is, you said B for boy on this one?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at it. 18. The best evidence. And then the answer we said before was, what do you say for 17 again?
B.
Unlikely to be acknowledged. The other passage 2 would characterize tax money spent on road maintenance as providing benefits that are unlikely to be acknowledged as long as the roads are in good condition. And passage 2 talked a lot about that, right? Like the reason why it's hard to notice the benefit of our taxes is that we're paying so that nothing happens. We're not paying for anything. We're paying for like the absence of something, right? So,
so B.
So is B for boy on 18?
No, D for dog.
D for dog, yeah. Alrighty, yep, it is. Alrighty, so try 19 then.
B for boy.
Very good. That took you like 12 seconds. Did it feel like it took you 12 seconds?
No.
Yeah, our own perception of how long things take is very, we're not good at that. Like my wife and I were talking about car accidents we've been in, and at the moment of stress, something that took 2 seconds felt like it took 30 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
So that's something that, I mean, there are some things in life where you need a coach because we can't see ourselves doing it. All right, so try number 20 then. Is 20 the same passage?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay.
A.
Very good. And that took you 30 seconds and 21.
A.
Very good. Alrighty. Well, okay. So I think, it's a whole different language, even though your English is great. And so I think just to reach the goals that you want to reach, you want to be practicing this a little bit every day. So I think, if I give you homework, that's great, but maybe we can maintain, practice, tests that you have access to, where even if it's a day where I didn't assign anything, you still do one practice, because you have to keep it going, because the language that they're giving us is just so old school, right? It's just so requires a lot of familiarity and everything. And I'd actually have some really good ideas about it. So for instance, I'm gonna write this down in our notes, because it's the kind of thing that I'll forget if I don't write down. But so the big note that I'm gonna write to myself is I'm only going to assign to you official practice tests like October 2017, all those kinds of tests. And the reason why is so that tests, as much as possible, tests 1 through 10 are reserved for your individual practice. Have you seen like the videos on my YouTube page, on Gradeful's YouTube page?
No.
So I'll show you that right now. So can you search for this on YouTube to make sure it opens for you? Let me know when you're at the page.
Wait, what is the name of it?
It's right here at the top. YouTube.com/Gradeful test prep.
Yeah.
Or you can just type in Gradeful with a D.
They didn't come up.
It did not come up, you said?
No.
Okay, I'm emailing you the actual thing just for you to click on. This is really big.
Okay, I found it.
You got it? This is really what we're talking about is going to be really helpful for you, because if you need, like, in other words, access to these videos gives you almost like free tutoring every single time you do homework. So like if I said, at first I said, Ariela, it would be really good for you to do a passage and go over it on your own. And the moment I said that, I was thinking in the back of my head, well, without me there, how is Ariela going to know the little word that this word means, like to tame the land means this, and all these different words that are kind of like known phrases that you need to be building up little by little. But if you did, like, what I'm doing is I'm building up a video for every single test, like SAT test 1 through 10. And every single section, there's a full explanation of how to do it. So it takes me 14 hours to make each video. And like the reading sections are 1 hour, 45 minutes long. So if you did one passage from, let's say, SAT practice test 7, right? You did one passage from that. You could find the video for that one. And then just, on whatever questions you missed, you could listen to it. And it's exactly the same things I would tell you if I was tutoring you, But you got to make sure, because the progress of the videos is like, it takes me so long to do these. So they're not all done yet. So you got to know which test, you're like, which test has the video, and then only practice on those in your free time,
Okay.
You think you'll have time to maybe do like one passage every day, or at least one passage every 2 days?
Yeah, I think.
It's not easy, but you see what the benefit would be of it, though?
But you would still assign me other ones.
Yeah. No. This is in addition to our tutoring. Yeah. Our tutoring is what it is. But like what I'm thinking is, I always think of how hard it would be for me to take an SAT in Spanish, even though your English is a lot better than my Spanish. But it's like, man, I just admire anybody who's so willing to do something in a different language. That must be so hard, But like the reason is a lot of the little words that you would only know if you live your entire life only in English. A lot of the little, like in Spanish, you have little kind of slang words that only you and your friends say, that someone who knows Spanish, maybe they learned it in school or something, but they're not going to know all of those little words. You know what I mean? So the everyday practice is going to kind of give you more of that, more and more and more. Even though you're amazingly brilliant, because even with that, you're already doing better than a lot of my American students, but I know your standards are high. So we want to get you 1,500, nothing less than that, So anyway, okay. So that's what we're going to try to do. And as far as homework, I pressed play on one of the videos by mistake. Okay. So the October 2019. So can you finish, the rest of reading and writing just as much as you can do from the test that we already have?
Of which one? The one you
The
sent
October
me?
2019.
Yes,
And when are you tutoring next?
on Tuesday. So
English,
I just
writing.
keep going.
Yeah, keep going. I mean, even if you got into a little bit of the math, that wouldn't be a bad thing. Just, whenever it's homework, it's whatever's reasonable for you with your school workload. I'm always understanding of that. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.